flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you and welcome everyone to our October 5th meeting. We have a motion to approve the minutes of September 21st, 2016. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and disbursement of funds. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Chief Donnelly, you are up.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Commissioners, citizens, I'd like to introduce one of the newest members of the Elkton Police Force, Christian Majanowski. Chris was born and raised in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, about 45 minutes from here, and is a graduate of the Ridley Township High School. Chris paid for and completed his entry-level police academy training at the Delaware County Community College in Delaware County, PA, and he graduated in June of 2016. He's currently beginning his field training with one of our veteran police officers, and he'll have to attend comparative compliance training sometime in the next year. So, welcome aboard. I'll swear you in.
Are you ready, Christian? Yes, sir. All right. Repeat after me. Hold your right hand up. I, Christian Majanowski,
I, Christian Majanowski,
do swear and affirm
do swear and affirm
that I support the Constitution of the United States
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of police officer
of police officer
according to the Constitution
according to the
and
Constitution
laws of this state.
and laws of the state.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Come on, Chief, get in here. Always good for a photo op. You want to get one with the family? Does anyone from the family want to come up? Come on up. Come on up. Perfect.
Be sure if you like to.
Yeah, I'd love to be in it. All right, Matt. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Majanowski, right, sir? I got it. I'll get it down. Majanowski. Keep that on the name list. It was a tough one.
And if I could, just one more thing, just point out Officer Kevin Forrester, who's presently field trained, Chris, and thank Officer First Class Brian David for coming, and for all the talk that we do about our hiring process, there's always a face with that and a name, and that's Lieutenant Allen, who handles all of our hiring, and she knows just how difficult it's been over the past 3 years trying to find qualified candidates. So I'd like to thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Miss Mary Jo Jablonski would like to ask the family a question.
Do you
know any of the Zuppos? That's who I am, my maiden name.
Very good. Okay, I'd like to invite Ms. Jen Patchett to come up. Jen's going to talk a little bit about the tobacco compliance board update with the Cecil County Health Department, I think. All right.
Hello, everybody. I was trying to figure out the way I could make eye contact with everybody in the room, and I figured this was the best corner to do that in. And I do have a quick, brief PowerPoint, and I also have some colleagues with me, and I want to introduce them as well. So first, I'm Jen Padgett from the Cecil County Health Department. I'm a community health educator, and I work a lot with the tobacco grants in the Division of Health Promotion. And I also work a lot with law enforcement, and Lieutenant Allen and Corporal Creek from Lieutenant Allen from the Elkton PD and Corporal Creek from the Sheriff's offices here. And after I'm done kind of just going over a quick overview, they're just going to talk a little bit about what it's been like to be involved in this project. So I want to thank everybody for just giving me a few minutes on the agenda. And I'm just going to be very brief on my update on tobacco enforcement.
Very good.
Okay? So, our tobacco sales enforcement is to support the SINAR compliance. When I say SINAR, a lot of people say, what is SINAR? SINAR is an actual federal SINAR amendment that requires states to enact and enforce laws prohibiting the sales and distribution of tobacco products to youth under the age of 18 or minors. So, Michelle, I didn't know if you could click that. Yes, okay. So, in order for states to be in compliance, we have to conduct annual random inspections and compliance of tobacco retail outlets for compliance with the minimum age requirement of 18 years or older in connection with the tobacco sales, and maintain a non-compliance rate of less than 20%. That's how it's stated. So if you take a look at what happened in FY 2015, that's fiscal year, over 31% of tobacco sales outlets sold tobacco products to youth under the age of 18, which in the state of Maryland, and which was exceeding the 20% compliance. In FY16, we went down. We're at 13.8%. So we're in compliance. We're within the compliance rate. But if we're not within the compliance rate, we have a potential of losing 40% of our substance abuse prevention treatment funds. So that's why it was really important to stay in compliance, just because that's the way the law's set up. And when you take a look at the activities that we're doing, the Cecil County...
Hey, Jen, real quickly,
Yes.
was that Cecil County, or was that for the whole state of Maryland?
The other side was for the whole state of Maryland.
Very good, thank you.
I'm going to show you Cecil County rate at the end.
Very good.
So the Cecil County Health Department staff go out to every vendor that sells tobacco and has a license, and we educate them on the laws to be in compliance. We update them on ID check trainings, and we try and provide a lot of information about the activities that are going on with SINAR activities as well. And it's not on here, but we also invite them to be a part of the tobacco task force as well. We have a tobacco task force. The Cecil County Liquor Board and the Health Department collaborate together to do retail trainings. And when we do our trainings, we do not only teaching them to properly ID check, but we also kind of go over what SINAR is, so they learn all the same information that you're learning as well, so that they understand why it's really important to stay in compliance. And we try and also troubleshoot any problems that they may be having, but we need to hear from the retailers to make those changes. And we have all local law enforcement in Cecil County conduct compliance checks as well. and they actually have youth that go in and attempt to purchase tobacco products, and then if they do purchase, they're able to write a citation. If not, then congratulations to that site. And all repeat violators, we take the citations, we look at it, and all the repeat violators are sent down to the Regulatory Enforcement Division of the Maryland Office of Comptrollers, and we have worked with a particular agent down there that takes all the citations and things like that. This is information that all retailers receive and get, and we also provide additional information, but this is just to remind them what the importance of it, what the importance is, gives them, we have all kinds of little fun facts, and then we also have cards and information on how to quickly calculate if somebody's 18 and give them helpful hints as well. And if you can go to the next slide, we we check ID, we talk to responsible retailers about checking IDs. That's the first thing they have to do, to have to check IDs. And then we also want to make sure that they can calculate the age. And then make sure that they place tobacco products where people have to ask for it. We don't want you to be able to go in and just take them out of the stores without being seen. And the last of all, a lot of people like to call it e-cigarettes, but the new terminology that they're calling is electronic nicotine delivery systems. And we're trying to, and because of the new FDA regulations, we also, we have no tobacco sales to minors for any ends, is what we call it, or electronic nicotine delivery systems. And we also explain that to the retailers. And we did a real push this year already, this fiscal year in FY17, to let them know what's going on with electronic nicotine delivery cigarettes. So if you take a look at our rates, the rates that we have, we went up a bit in FY16, but we are going down. And I was very pleased to see that the 11 stores that were checked this fiscal year now, it was done in August 2016 by the Behavioral Health Administration, and we came out squeaky clean. We didn't have any violations this year, so I'm hoping that will continue with all the activities and things that we've been doing. And the sign our activities are completed through the advisement of the Cecil County Tobacco Task Force, and we bring all our activities there and have them look at that and kind of review how we're doing and do the progress, and activities and input can come. And everybody's welcome to come to the Tobacco Task Force. Our next Tobacco Task Force is actually October 21st, and it's going to be at noon in the auditorium at the Cecil County Health Department. It's open to anybody in the community, so welcome everybody who would like to come. Now, that's my quick sign-our presentation, but does anybody have any questions?
Jen, real quickly, when you try to find if someone's in compliance, does the health department send a minor into a store to attempt to buy cigarettes, or is that done by the liquor board?
It's done by law enforcement. I might let Lieutenant Allen and Corporal Creek speak to that.
Yes.
Hi there.
Harry.
Yeah, so we actually send an officer, an undercover officer in with a minor into the establishments, and they try and witness them make a purchase of a tobacco product. We tell them up front, though, we actually go training with them and we get permission from their parents. But like, we're not trying to trick them or anything. If they ask for ID, we give them ID. If they ask for their age or their date of birth, they have to provide the actual, their correct date of birth. So we want everyone to be in compliance. But yeah, we do that, and then if they sell, the juvenile goes back out, and then the officer will cite them. And if they don't, then we send in a uniform officer to say, hey, you did a great job, so that they know as well. And we always try to not just talk to the clerk, but also the manager if there's one available. This year in Elkton, we did 4 stings. We visited 18 establishments, and 3 sold. So sometimes we do have some repeat offenders. I'm not sure that any of these were, maybe, but I think it was under new management actually for the one. But
What is the consequences for a business that sells and is like a repeat offender of selling cigarettes to minors?
so as Jen was saying, she's the one who tracks them through the courts, and if they get convicted and it's their second or repeat offense, She actually sends all that down to her contact at the comptroller's office. And we will go down with her and meet with the owner of the business. And then they can put some sanctions in place for them. A lot of times we're finding that a lot of these stores have transitioned over to where they're using registers that already, you put in their date of birth and they'll tell you whether you can sell it to them or not. So that's helped a lot, and I think in the one that we went down, that's actually what was happening. They were in transition on acquiring that equipment. But they can actually, if I'm right, Jen, I think they can actually suspend their license to suspend tobacco products for a period of time. And if that ever happens, then we will go in, as people, they're not allowed to sell cigarette for older during that time frame.
But that's not usually the first action, the suspension. They usually review, depending on the business's history and how many citations and all. They take all of that into account before they decide the sanction for that store. It could be a revocation of the license for one day. It could be just a sanction. It could be warning. There's a lot of different things that can be done. It's just depending. The comptroller's office has to take in account the history of that retailer.
Very good.
You said, you showed there were 11 stores that were checked. What was that? Was that Cecil County? Or?
Yes, that was Cecil County.
Okay. Do you track exactly how many facilities in Cecil County sell cigarettes or the tobacco products?
Yes.
You do? So you know how many facilities you have in Elkton, Rising Sun, what have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I won't know, I don't have them broken down by town in my head, but I do have them broken down, I do have the number that sell in the county, and I do know where they are in location, but I don't think I can give you an exact number without literally counting.
I understand.
But I would be able to do that.
So 11 stores in Cecil County was a cross-section of the county. It wasn't a specific spot.
No, the Behavioral Health Administration performs the official sign-our checks. And they go into a random sampling of each county in the state of Maryland. And they do the compliance checks. And out of that, 11 stores that were randomly checked in Cecil County passed. Well, I say we, but the retailers passed.
Thank you, Mike.
Very good.
That's good.
Anyone else?
Your part.
Well, I think law enforcement has really made a big difference.
Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're going to take a couple seconds to disconnect? Hold on. Very good.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Okay, Lou George, you were on here in a second.
First item I have is resolution R10-2016, disposal of surplus property. As the board is aware, in order for the town to dispose of surplus property, we have to declare it surplus, and it has to be approved by a resolution of the board. In this particular case, we want to dispose of a 2008 Ford Transit that was EPD used by EPD, but is no longer serviceable, and consequently we will sell it at auction in Northeast at the Ritchie Brothers auction. So I need the authorization of the board and passage of this resolution.
Do we have a motion to approve resolution R10-2016, disposal of surplus property?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on surplus property? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item I have is Proclamation Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'll read it into the record. A proclamation of the Mayor and Commissioners of the Town of Elkton proclaiming October 2016 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas annually over 230,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer and 40,000 will die from this disease. Whereas breast cancer affects both women and men, although it is most common cancer in women, thousands of men will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer each year. Whereas each October, our nation and international community partner to heighten awareness of breast cancer and to emphasize the life-saving message of early detection through outreach, education, and screening programs. Whereas through research and advocacy, significant advances have been made in the fight against breast cancer, including an increase in 5-year relative survival rates for localized breast cancer. Now therefore, the Mayor and Commissioner of the Town of Elkton hereby proclaim the month of October 2016 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Elkton, encourage all citizens to support research that will one day eliminate this insidious disease.
We have a motion to approve proclamation 26-2016 Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the proclamation? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Very good, thank you, Lou. I had a couple items. The first item I wanted to mention, we received a request from Mrs. Osborne from the Elkton Housing Authority Board that we needed to appoint a new resident commissioner. I'd like to get the board's approval on Mrs. Mary Euster for the term expiring February 1st, 2020 on the Elkton Housing Authority Board as the resident commissioner.
Also moved.
We have a motion
And a second.
and a second. Any discussion on Mrs. Euster? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Reminder, of course, we've got another meeting, but our trick or treating will be on October 31st from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So it'll be running the same time as Cecil County's trick or treating hours, which is very good. On September 22nd, I had sent an email inquiry to the board asking the board support for continuing education classes for the planning board and the Board of Appeals. And I think after I spoke to Gene Brumo, I might have wrote it a little bit wrong today when I said continuing education.
Well-
I actually meant going to workshops and seminars. And
That's continuing education.
it is. It
Yeah, but
is.
it's not.
It's not like going to Cecil College.
Right.
That's, yeah.
So, I know we didn't budget anything this year, but I think we could find some money in the, in Gene Minter's, planning budget. So I just wanted to kind of get the okay. I don't know if this is something we have to vote on or not, Lou, that would give the green light for
No,
this.
we just pledged for it.
Is there anyone opposed to sending them to seminars to?
So that includes all departments, because as I said before, I just think that, you know, you work on a job, there should always be improvement in what you do.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Right.
I agree.
That's good. So, the one thing I wanted to mention is that the Board of Appeals, Board of Zoning Appeals, and the Planning Commission members are members of the Maryland Planning Commission Association. And there is a link that gives the seminar locations when they're in the state of Maryland. So we'll make all them aware of that. Very good, thank you, Board. The last item that I had, we've been going back and forth now for some time with the county government on trying to get this little parcel of property across the street here so we could build our community center. And it's taken a lot longer than I ever expected. I mean, it was a process where we thought we were going to lease the land, then we thought that maybe the school board would be able to just dedicate it to us. But the way the process had to work, is actually worked, is that the school board had to declare it a surplus piece of property. Then it goes up to the superintendent of the schools to get the okay that it was a surplus piece of property. Now it goes to the Board of Public Works, where the governor and comptroller and the treasurer vote on whether they can declare this a surplus, which then comes back to the county commissioners, and then the county commissioners at that point would hand the land off to us. Well, I'm very pleased to announce tonight that the Board of Public Works voted in favor of declaring it surplus. So out of everything that we have here, the county commissioners, the county executive have given us their word that they're going to move forward and dedicating that land to the town of Elkton. So we are ready to move forward on the community center. How nice is that?
That's great.
I tell you, all the time coming, very happy about this. This is makes a great night.
Yeah.
Makes a great night. And this community center, as we start to move forward on this is going to make a difference in our community. It's going to make a difference for places for our children, our senior citizens, kids of all ages to participate into this building. We'll have mentoring services, partnerships with our police department, mentoring our youth of our community. And I think it's going to really impact our, I'm going to say, our downtown economy in some ways when we start having adult action. When I say that, maybe there could be adult volleyball leagues, there could be, and then afterwards, where are we going to go? We're going to go down and have a Coca-Cola down the street, right? So I'm very pleased about this, and I know that the board's very pleased about this. This was a long time coming. So, Lou, what's our next step?
County, well, it has to go to the county, and the county has to convey it to the town.
And we feel pretty 99, well, I'm going to say I'm 100% confident that it's going to happen. All right, that's all I have tonight. Mary Jo, you are on.
That is fantastic news. I can't believe it went from one department to the Board of Public Works so quickly, because I thought that would take longer, but that's great news. I do just want to mention, being we did do the breast cancer awareness, it is the Run for the Pink Ribbon this Saturday that Union Hospital is doing, and I don't believe you could sign up still online, but you can sign up there in person. So I did want to mention that. And Cecil County Tourism has moved into Main Street. We're very fortunate to have them. They should be open on Monday. They're still unpacking some things, but it's beautiful in there. Stop by, say hello. They're doing a great job in there. So we're excited to have them. And that's all I have.
What about this Friday?
I'm sorry?
This Friday?
Oh, this Friday, yes.
Where exactly does that start? I'm a little confused.
Oh, the loop, remember the card I gave you? It is First Friday downtown. So you could go start at the Art Council, you could start at, and I would suggest tonight, or this week, Art Space on Main. The Pottery has empty bowls, and if you're not familiar with that, it was in the paper, but they've made over 500 bowls. You go there, buy a bowl, and you get all kinds of soup and bread and desserts and soft drinks, and they have entertainment there, and it all goes to the Wayfarers house for the women's shelter. So that's a great event there, and then you could work your way down. The Arts Council is having their celebrity 6x6, and everyone did one, thank you. But I heard there is over 100 6x6 paintings, drawings, 3D items, and you could buy one. You don't know who the artist is. It could be Geraldine McEwen. It could be Commissioner Piner.
I just gotta go stand.
I know.
You couldn't tell the difference.
No, you can. You probably can. But it's going to be really nice there, and then everything in between. Of course, Gracie's with the open mic, and there's a lot going on Friday night. So thank goodness it's not going to rain right now.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Thank you for asking.
I just have two comments. Number one, I know we were scheduled on Thursday for the life assessment down at Meadow Park. I know it rained. Louis, do you know anything about that? Or what's the update on that?
It's scheduled.
Yeah.
I thought it was after.
No, it's
Oh,
coming
No,
up.
it's,
okay, good, I missed it.
No, it's not this Thursday, it's the following Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah.
good rain. So, the second thing is, I know last week I had a conversation with a couple people, and I want to bring to the board's attention. I think we need to sit down with Public Work, Dan, and Public Works Committee, and see if we might want to contract the grass cutting out, and see if it's feasible to do that at this time. We're just throwing that there for a conversation with Dan, and see where we want to go with that, because it may be a good time to look into that and see if we can free up some employees to do some other things other than cutting grass, and maybe it might be feasible. So just want to throw that out there.
It
That's
never
it.
hurts to check. So you can bring that up with Dan tomorrow, I guess, at the, perfect.
That's it.
Gene?
No.
Charles?
left on my desk, evidently there's going to be a march and band competition at Elkton High School on Saturday, October the 8th. I don't know how many people are going, but I don't know if I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for some of it, but we'll discuss that later. I love to hear drums too. I used to play them. Oh, that's right, Earl plays them too. Clem, we love drums.
Gibbs campaign.
Today, while I was in the town hall here, the general manager from Wawa came in,
Oh.
and he left some pretzels and some donuts. He's looking for the mayor to give him some donuts.
Oh, there you go.
But certainly, they're going to have their grand opening on October the 25th. So I guess they're going to contact Michelle. Michelle will contact you right there.
Yeah.
Particulars about that. They're very excited. What's the general manager?
Very nice.
Chief Gary Dennis, who lives on West Main Street, and the others said they were very happy with the decrease in traffic down there on that end of West Main Street.
Yes, thank you.
He thought that was great. But then again, I thought it was unique that I took my wife this morning to Northeast. She's on the way to West Virginia to a missionary gathering there for churches. And I saw a young lady at 4 o'clock on Hampton Lane. And she wasn't doing nothing, just standing out there. But that was just strange to ride through at that time and somebody just standing out there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's typical. That's it.
Very good, thank you, Charlie. There was one, and I know Mr. Howard's here, and I'm sure he's gonna come up and say something in a few minutes. But earlier today, I met with Mr. Howard, and he's gonna come up here and talk about, I think, banners in the town of Elkton. I think that's what he's gonna address. But one other thing that we talked about during our conversation, and I spoke to the chief a little bit about it today. Bridge Street, of course, I forget the actual car count, 18,000, 19,000 cars a day, maybe more. I don't know how we can address the crossing of Bridge Street in a safer manner. Now, we're very fortunate, and I'm going to knock on wood here, that we don't, I spoke to the chief, and we haven't had any accidents, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen, because it's very difficult to...
None of any consequence. I don't see speeding as an issue, especially with the morning rush, afternoon rush. Speeding's not a problem. I know it's not conducive for pedestrians to be crossing that street, but I think we get away with it because the traffic is moving rather slowly.
Could we, Lou, take a look, maybe we can get the state highway in and see if we can get a crossing where a person could actually push the button and the light would change, maybe right there at Bridge Street and Howard.
They already have a plan to do that.
Okay?
But it takes them a little while to do anything.
Okay.
I had signed off on that sometime.
I thought we did.
I'll find out what's
That would- Very good, that would be great.
Head crossing at Howard and Bridge Street.
That, I think that would make a big difference if we had something a little bit closer in there. Okay, this is the time of the meeting. We open up the floor for the public to come up and say anything. And if you have anything to say, Mr. Howard, are you coming up? You can come right up here to the front, sign your name on the piece of paper there, and please give your name and address to the board. Have a seat there, put a seat there, and tell us what you'd like to say to us.
Oh, thank you.
There you go, Rod.
Very good.
Jason Howard, my address is 73 Jenkins Road, Chesapeake City, Maryland. Members of the board, Mayor Alt, my name is Jason Howard, and I'm the owner of Bridge Street Auto Sales here in Elkton. It's recently been explained to me that the zoning ordinance of Elkton only allows one banner per business for advertising purposes in commercial zones for a period not exceeding 30 days. I also understand that the temporary solution is allowing two banners has been put into place. I realize that the issue of advertising banners is some businesses using excess of flags, banner signs, and streamers that cause issues with driving sightlines blocking of businesses, and become unsightly to the public without being maintained or overused in a small area. The idea of advertising sign as a business owner, I want customers to look at my business and see what I have for sale. While not every person who sees a sign will purchase off of me, however, one that looks and sees a product that I have for sale, shows interest, sustains my grows my business. What I'm proposing is a change for the zoning ordinance that allows advertising signs and banners to be used for business in this manner. No more than one sign per 10 square feet. No signs that in any way obstruct driving sightlines or road signs. Proper maintenance of signs. Signs must be removed before bad weather. Signs must not fall in disrepair. And signs must be directly linked to the business in which they're advertising. And finally, no fee for businesses to apply for to use advertising signs or banners to follow the guideline proposed. As an owner of the business, in this town, I want to see the town improve and grow. Because as the town continues to improve and grow, so will my business. Thank you for your time and consideration. And all these things that I pulled off of, I actually, believe it or not, there is a sign lobby. I didn't think there would be, but there is. And actually also came out of Bel Air, Maryland. They had an issue with this, and these are some of the things that they put together and it worked well. I understand that Baltimore County and Howard County, Montgomery County, have a very strict sign policy, and it's a constant nuisance. What I said in this, I'm just looking to try to sell more cars. And I spent an awful lot of money making part of my business look very proper, and it was against the ordinance. So, a couple small considerations that I would just like to see happen.
Jason, I appreciate you bringing this together so quickly after our conversation this morning. I promise you that we'll pass this on to the planning board for them to review. And we go back and forth a lot when it comes to banners and signs, as I mentioned to you before. And marketing of banners and signs change all the time. You know, what do you call that crazy guy? You know, is that a banner? Is that a sign? Or what is it, you know? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm the red man.
Yeah, the red man. What do you call a red man? Is that
That's what it is.
It does work.
So we have to adapt and change as the times change, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. But I promise you this will go to their hands, and they will give you a response.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for coming in. We'll pass this down to Lou, and you can give it to Gene or Mark.
I'll see if they can get it on their agenda.
Okay, anyone else have anything to say? Come on down. Please state your name and address and. For the board, for the record.
And Mr. Pioneer is safe tonight.
Oh, I'm safe.
My name's Tom Helfrich. I live at 114 Hearthstone Drive here in Elkton. The lady that was here a moment ago, I talked to her prior to the meeting, and I told her I had some questions about the cigarette issue, and she said she had to leave. But I'm going to say something anyway. As most of you know, I run a landscaping business here in Elkton. I'm out and about a lot. I see a lot of things in Cecil County, Hartford County, parts of Pennsylvania. Elkton is where I live. And I try to keep Elkton nice. I do things in my neighborhood. I get on people for different reasons. I try to keep an eye out on different things going on in and out and around town. I told the chief earlier, I strolled down the street the other day, Main Street, with 3 of his officers. We had a nice little discussion. We talked about those things. Very nice. They were very polite to me. That's something that I am really hard on some of these police officers, county, state, and local police. I'll talk to anybody. I may not like you, but I'll talk to you. I say, hello, how are you? All I ask is someone to recognize me. I don't think that's asking too much. If you got a problem with that, so be it, okay? But there's nothing wrong with saying hi or nod your head away. But anyway, having said all that, I go up and down these streets and up and down these highways here in Elkton, and I see, I call it children, I'm old enough to be their grandfather, smoking cigarettes. And this lady come in tonight, you got a cop sitting over here, and I call him a cop. That's going to enforce a cigarette smoking law. We got a police task force. The cop there, she was very nice in what she said about him. She probably got a tough job. What are our objectives? If I'm a 10, 12, 14-year-old kid, and I look like I'm 20 years old, believe me, there's kids out there who do. Buy a cigarette. What are you going to do to that young man or woman? Don't throw him in the penal system. Don't throw him in jail, make him a hardened criminal for buying a cigarette. I don't know. Those are questions I ask. Why are we expending expenses with police enforcing a cigarette law? I know it's a federal law. If you want to smoke a cigarette, they're going to get a cigarette. They want an e-cigarette or something, they're going to get it. Simple as that. You got guys walking up and down this street, picking up butts and smoking them. I see kids, 5, 6, 7 years old, smoking cigarettes all day long. And if you all don't see it, then maybe you all need to open your eyes up. There's more to it than going to a 7-Eleven and buying a cigarette. I mean, I just can't see, what are our objectives? Why are we spending the money? I don't know. It don't make sense to me. That man over there's got a tough job. The drugs, the alcohol, the crime. I don't see for a cigarette. You got a guy sitting over here, all he does is go up and down the street and pull a guy over, a young man or woman, and ask, hey, where'd you buy the cigarette at? Putting a sting on a place that sells cigarettes? I don't understand that. It does not make sense to me. I'd like to know what's happening to the youth that are caught. Where are they going? Putting them over here in the detention center? Send them on to mom and dad? What's mom and dad going to do to them? Nothing. You know that as well as I do. So why are we putting all this money into smoking cigarettes for the cops? They got enough to do. It kind of affects me a lot. I have a son, when he was 16 years old, he's 6'5", 350 pounds. He looks 25 years old. He can go anywhere and buy a beer. He looks old. They're not going to question that young man. They're supposed to. Go to West Virginia and buy a beer. I'm 67 years old. I go to West Virginia or go somewhere, you got an ID? Well, sure. Why do I need an ID? That's the law. But the whole point is, I think we're wasting our time here. If there's something good coming out of it, why is the health department involved?
The only thing I know is that they're the one running the program. It's
Yeah,
not
what
our
the program is. That's my point. Why do we need a program for youth buying cigarettes?
That's a the county ran program out. I can tell you, I don't want to say it's, they're making us aware of it, but I can tell you this, that I have a part owners of a convenience store in Northeast. And been an owner of that business for many years, and we get minors in there, and we card. If you don't look 21, we won't sell you cigarettes. I make that very clear. And the same thing with alcohol. And the reason why I was asked about the violations was, with alcohol, they can, you go in front of the liquor board,
Right.
and you could lose your liquor license, and you get fined, and the person doing the selling. I don't believe that they're at that level yet from selling of the cigarettes. It sounds to me it was more of a hand tap, and I don't think that they're taking the children. I don't think they're...
And most if not all the children that are given any kind of a tobacco citation wind up going before the neighborhood youth panel, and charge is dismissed. They, it's not something that's on their record. We've participated in this program as long as I can remember. It's through the health department. It's on a grant. We, on a yearly basis, usually participate maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the year, depending on how much money they offer us.
Well, here's the
That's
point
what I was
too,
just
Chief.
gonna ask.
I never heard that lady say one time, this is to help stop the sale of cigarettes because we want to stop the prevention of cancer. Never heard that once. And that's why everybody you talk to, I mean, I remember as a young man going out in the tobacco field, you know, wrap your own. I mean, times have changed, don't get me wrong. But not one time has anyone said, we're stopping these youths from buying cigarettes because we want to stop cancer. I never heard that tonight.
Well, I could shed a little bit of light, because when I was with the Boys and Girls Club, we participated in this program. It is a grant that the county social services or health department receives, but then they actually, the Boys and Girls Club, applied for a grant to supply them with the children to go in, that, you know, to do that, what do they call, sting or whatever, with written permission from parents. But there was also a poster contest that had to be done, different things to make those children aware of the effects of cigarette smoking. So there was another part of it that was put with that to receive the grant. So, but do we get grant money for our police officers to be involved with it from the
Our
same grant?
police officer covered on the grant
Okay.
when they worked on that. And we do it, organizationally, we participate in this program as well as some other programs. We get grant money for DWI enforcement, we get grant money for saturation control, other types of traffic enforcement. So I look at it as, you're kind of taking a little bit of each little issue that's in the community, and if we get stores to stay in compliance and not sell to minors, that's a good thing. And if we get a couple minors to stop smoking as a result, after they go through a neighborhood youth panel, then I think it's money well spent. And I think we're talking this year we may have $2,000 as part of that grant, maybe $2,500.
Well, it just struck me as, I mean, have someone, there's a program, what's it doing?
Understand.
That's all. Well, thank you very much.
Also, at my church now, we have programs with the health department. We had one last year, and that dealt with trying to get adults to stop smoking, and it did talk about the diseases and other things you can have. We put signs all around the church, and we had a little initiative. Almost 3 months ago, we had pregnant females there at the church, and you were also talking about some diseases and things that they should watch on the board. But within that grant, you also have to talk about trying to get them to stop smoking.
Well, I understand that, I agree.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
And the last word I have is that you don't see Hoppy on the bridge because he had an operation on last Monday with his knee. And I think right now he's in rehab, so you won't see Hoppy there for a while.
Okay, I was asked that.
Mr. Foraker, you had something to say? Come on down. Please sign in and put your address on there.
Just to clear up some questions on the cigarettes, if a lot of what the money that comes through the grants is dictated by the federal government. There's specific things we have to do with that money. There is a lot, in the limited time she has, you can't cover everything with cigarettes with cancer. It does get covered. There's a whole education program that comes out, because we've done it at Haven House through the health department to bring people in and do a whole presentation on it. So all bases are covered on that. It's just you have a limited amount of time here to cover it all. It's interesting. I'm glad she was here today. If you're not familiar with this, we all talk about the drug problems in the county and in the United States. If you took all the drugs, all of the murders, all the plane wrecks, all the car accidents, all the overdoses, everything, put it all together, you don't kill as many people as you kill with cigarettes. on a yearly basis, over 400,000 deaths. Number one cause of death for drug addicts and alcoholics, cigarettes. It's not the drugs, it's cigarettes. That's training that we just went through, so it is a very important issue, so anyway. But that's not what I'm here. A few weeks ago, I received a invitation for a new clinic that opened on Main Street called Project Chesapeake. And I was surprised to hear that they were opening since I had not heard anything about them up until that point. And I know when other clinics have tried to open, there were public hearings, etc. I spoke with the zoning board, called the zoning board, and was told that they were allowed to open because they were merely an office. And I also spoke with the mayor at Fallfest briefly. I guess I'm confused as to why they're not held in the same line as the other zoning, as the other clinics are, because by your own definition, they are a clinic. Your definition of a clinic says that it's a freestanding healthcare facility that's not licensed as a hospital, part of a hospital or a nursing home, and is not administratively part of a physician or osteopath's office, but which has a separate staff functioning under the direction of a clinical administrator and is organized and operated to provide ambulatory and outpatient health services. They are administered by a clinical administrator. They offer outpatient health services. If you go down a little bit further in your own zoning law, under state licensed medical clinic, under C, it says an alcohol and abuse drug treatment program certified under Title H, Subtitle 4 of the Health General Article of the Annotated, I can never pronounce that word, the Code of Maryland, that they are a licensed medical clinic. They are that. They have to be in order to function. They have to have that. They can't do what they do. They're not merely an office. They're providing treatment services there. I understand that they're not providing medication, but they're still a clinic. So I'm just trying to get clarification as to how there was no public hearing on this.
I think that the one comment I'll make is that it certainly was in the hands of our I will say that Chip, who was our building inspector, code inspector, code enforcer, certainly made that decision based on his experience. Now, that's all the information I can give you at this point. We are currently in litigation with another entity in regards to this. Well, John, I'll let you, I'm going to stutter here a little bit, but I'm going to leave it to you to say.
I did attempt to speak with Chip. He hung up on me. He told me he didn't have to listen to me and hung up.
I think probably the best thing to say is that this is a planning and zoning issue, understanding your questions. This is currently the subject, the specific thing you requested. Clarification is presently the subject of one-day application. I don't think anyone here represents themselves as expert in planning and zoning. And so my recommendation to them is to kind of leave it at that. The litigation will play itself out. And the litigation itself is a matter of public dealings. You go to the courtroom and sit there and listen to everything as it plays out. But I don't think this is the appropriate time for the county to make comments on ongoing litigation.
I had questions because even the advertising that they put out, and this is on them, not on you. But again, I think if there was public hearings, you could get clarification. They've listed in their advertising that all their services are being provided by licensed clinicians. They're not. They're provided by certified people just like me. I don't have a license. I have a certification. There's a big difference between a licensed clinician and a certified clinician as to what you can and can't do.
Thank you. I wish we could.
Well, Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jack. Anyone else have anything to say this evening? Mr. Edginder, come on down. Please state your name and address for the board.
Ed Hinder, 9800 Place. Couple things. Want to commend the town of Elkton, Dan, and the Public Works Department. On behalf of Bob Ford, Funeral Home, the aprons improvements up on Main Street. Also, the beautification sidewalk project on Main Street. It's really didn't know who parents on Main Street. Second thing, on Tuesday night on Channel 11, Baltimore News, there was a thing on there, 3 county executives. I think they're from Hartford, Howard, and I think Frederick counties, a meeting on the opiate heroin addiction problem. And I was disturbed because Cecil County was not involved in that. I don't know if they were invited, but I think you as public officials should start working on the county elected officials that this is a very important issue that needs to be looked at. You should be able, Cecil County should be involved.
I agree too, but you know, a lot of time on TV and that area is biased towards Cecil County, so.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone else have anything to say this evening? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.